Welcome to another episode of Painfully Fabulous, the podcast. Today, me and Christine wanted to talk about the Take Care of Maya verdict. We watched it live together and we cried a lot. But we also wanted to talk about like the actual nitty gritty of it all. So,
Yeah, so for the trial, for claim number one, there's three different instances that they've claimed for. And in the first one, the first false imprisonment occurred between October 7th and 13th, the first few days that Maya was at the hospital. Um, Now, during the trial, it was asked of the jury if they found it unreasonable and unwarranted circumstances. And the jury found that, yes, in fact, that was.
for October 7th through 13th, the total award was $5,563,200.
So,
But there was also punitive damages, Christine.
right. So, and under the circumstances of this case, the jury has to find by clear and convincing evidence that punitive damages are warranted between this time frame for false imprisonment. So that's again October 7th to 13th. And they did, and they awarded another $15 million for punitive damages. Punitive damages, for people that don't know, are damages that are awarded sort of to punish or keep, say, the hospital from doing this again. So it's not an award of damages because of pain and suffering, but more for to keep them from doing it. It's a punishment for the hospital.
Exactly. And punitive damages were actually a separate part of the jury verdict. We're just including this in here for the sake of easy editing. Um, the jury actually had to go back and they had to deliberate again to figure out punitive damages. And the next false imprisonment claim was from October 18th through October 20th.
Yes, and that's the 2 days she was held in the EEG room for surveillance, where they, kept things just with outside of her reach to see if she would actually try and get it, walk, whatever. They wanted to see her do things that she said she couldn't do. So for that, they also found, yes, that the jury found that they were guilty of this.
So for October 18th through October 20th, the jury awarded the Kowalski family $4,961,298. And the punitive damages on that, again, for the hospital's wrongdoing, the hospital to prevent them from doing it again, the punitive damages were $10 million just for those days, too. Now, there's one more claim for false imprisonment. There's one more day, and that's January 6, 2017, when Catherine Beatty and possibly another nurse pinned Maya down, took her clothes off, some of them, and took pictures of her
Against her will.
against her. So the total just for that one instance, that one time, 15,513,000, and the punitive damages for that was $25 million. So altogether for claim one, just for false imprisonment, $66,037,498 awarded to the Kowalski family for the wrongdoing of John Hopkins All Children's Hospital.
It's so good because not even only for the money part of it, and that's what I think Maya was saying in her after the case interview. It's vindication. It's being heard, right? So they were so emotional that day. I was so emotional that day. You were so emotional that day. But it was, people heard her finally.
It was finally like Beata was right. It felt like finally they didn't have to question it. They didn't have to have any sort of icky feelings about it. It just Beata was right and the hospital did wrong, and that's the bottom line. So let's clarify one more time. For January 6, 2017, included in claim one, the reason why that instance was included was because they restrained her. She was being imprisoned in that area and unable to move.
She was also told by them that if she didn't participate in these pictures, that she wouldn't be able to go to court and see her mother.
Absolutely. And
So
now that leads us into claim two, I think.
yes. So claim two is battery for January 6th, the same day. Um, did Catherine Beatty and any bedside nurse commit battery on Maya Kowalski? on January 6th. And again, the jury said yes. So they were awarded damages.
They were awarded a total of 12,559,000 for these damages that was caused just on that one day.
Claim 2 had a second part of it, which included battery because of Catherine Beatty's hugs, pats, kisses, and placing Maya on her lap. The jury did agree that, yes, she was guilty of that.
They also agreed that it caused Maya a lot of anguish and it's going to cause her a lot of problems in the future.
Oh,
So, grand total for claim 2, so that's both instances there that involve Catherine Beatty. They were awarded $16,001,000.
yes.
Pretty powerful. Although this money will never really even help them heal, but at least it gives them a little bit of peace to know that they were right. So
Yes.
moving on to claim 3, I guess, hey?
Yes. So, as far as claim 3, medical negligence of Maya Kowalski.
Jury was asked, was Dr. Sally Smith an apparent agent of JHACH at the time and place of any treatment she provided to Maya? They were also asked if Dr. Sally Smith was negligent in medical care of Maya, and if that negligence was a legal cause of loss, injury, or damage to Maya.
Right. And to which they all said yes. What we should include as well is that they also wanted to see if were one or more healthcare providers other than Sally Smith negligent in the medical care of Maya, and was their negligence a legal cause of loss, injury, or damage to Maya? So that was also included there, right? So,
And the jury did agree. They all said yes. For claim 3, medical negligence of Maya Kowalski, they were awarded $26,700,000. Shame on Dr. Sally Smith. And I will just note, in Beata's suicide note, she did write that her wish was that Dr. Sally Smith would lose her position at All Children's Hospital and her medical license. And there was another doctor as well. I believe it was Dr. Malik. I will go through and confirm. So hopefully this helps.
well,
Right.
the thing is, as I know that she is no longer at John Hopkins,
But she's still a medical.
but she is still practicing. Yes.
She's still doing this to families all across Florida. Anyways,
Claim number 4 was for fraudulent billing to Mr. Kowalski. So the jury was asked, did John Hopkins All Children's Hospital fraudulently misrepresent material matter in its invoices to Jack Kowalski or its insurers because they claimed for CRPS treatment, but they said Maya didn't have CRPS? And
right.
of course, the jury said yes.
Claim 4, fraudulent billing for Jack Kowalski when John Hopkins billed for CRPS and didn't treat her for it. $5 million.
Claim number 5 is the survivor claim for the intentional infliction of emotional distress in the estate of Beata Kowalski. So the jury was asked, did John Hopkins All Children's Hospital, through the acts of its employees, engage in extreme and outrageous conduct, intending that conduct to cause, or with reckless disregard of the high probability of causing severe emotional distress to Beata Kowalski prior to her death? And they answered yes.
The total for that they were awarded for claim number 5 was $3 million. Claim 6, wrongful death claim for intentional infliction of emotional distress causing death in the estate of Beata Kowalski.
So the jury was asked, did Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital, through the act of its employees, engage in extreme and outrageous conduct, intending that conduct to cause, or with reckless disregard of the high probability of causing, severe emotional distress to Beata Kowalski that was sufficient to a legal cause of Beata Kowalski's death by suicide? And the jury said yes.
Yes.
I think that's where I got excited.
This honestly, I think I said yes. I was so, this was a powerful moment for us to watch and in court itself.
So As part of this, they also asked, did the conduct that you found in this question create for Beata an uncontrollable impulse to die by suicide? And they answered yes. And that uncontrollable impulse was the example you gave, Kristen, in the other video about if your child was out in the middle of the road and was going to be hit by a car, a mother's impulse or parent's impulse, sorry, would be to jump out in front of that car and save the child. And that was the same impulse that Beata had for this suicide. And
I'm
they answered yes. So that was very powerful.
just gonna say I'm so proud of Mr. Anderson and Mr. Whitney for all of their hard work for this, because truly that changes history for the future, and this just justifies everything that the family went through. Question number 41. What is the total amount of damages sustained by Jack Kowalski for the loss of his wife's companionship and protection, and for his pain and suffering as a result of Beata's death? It was $50 million.
I know. And that's great. They deserve it. Like,
They they
nothing,
do, they deserve it, but it's not gonna bring her back.
I was just going to say that nothing will bring her back, but it is showing that the hospital, their actions were responsible. They put so much undue stress on this poor family.
Yeah,
Like,
but to see the relief on them and to know, like, you and I know, even just when it comes to work, going to work and trying to work when you have our condition is very stressful. It's almost impossible for so many people. Hope Maya might not ever have to worry about that.
yes.
Maya might get to try to just live life and be okay without having to endure any more trauma than she's already gone through.
Well, and these award this money will help her in her recovery.
Yes.
Because in the States they don't have coverage like us. They don't, and I believe in the trial they were talking about too how um with some of their bills and everything, their deductible can get pretty high now with their, personal insurances because of everything, right?
Well, where Beata was the insurer and Jack had to get insurance afterwards, Maya has CRPS. So do you know how difficult it's going to be for them to find actual coverage? Like right now, I'm sure dental and stuff might be covered, but they don't, her medical stuff isn't going to be fully covered. Well, now it will.
Yes, yes. So what was the total of this claim, Kristen?
The total awarded for claim 6 was $108,653,676.
That brings even tears to my eyes because beyond,
To
I just feel for the family, I guess. So we move on to claim number 7, which is intentional infliction and emotional distress of Maya.
The jury was asked if Johns Hopkins or the act of its employees engaged in extreme and outrageous conduct, intending that conduct to cause or with reckless disregard of the high probability of causing severe emotional distress to Maya. And the
And
jury
they
said yes. They were awarded $10,500,000 for claim 7.
so for the total damages, they were paid $211,451,174 plus punitive damages of $50 million for a grand total of
$261,451,174 for John Hopkins All Children's Hospital mistreating Maya Kowalski's complex regional pain syndrome.
and the loss of Beata. Yes, I know. It's so exciting. It was so exciting on that day. If anyone gets a chance to just go watch the day of the verdict, it is so moving and so inspirational, actually, because for Maya to and her family to fight this and to go through it all over again, it brought so much awareness to CRPS, and it gave them vindication for Beata.
which is
And
priceless.
yes, exactly. Exactly.
Priceless.
And it's helping so many other families not go through this same thing.
I believe and I hope that through all of this, not only that the Kowalskis get peace that they deserve because they truly deserve some peace. I hope that all medical providers, all hospitals are out there right now researching complex regional pain syndrome, not chronic regional pain syndrome, complex regional pain syndrome. Find a way to help your patients. It's nicknamed the suicide disease because medical providers aren't helping us and we need your help.
And the most important thing, though, when in this research is not one person is like another person with CRPS. Our symptoms are all different. So, one may have the discoloration, one may not. So, you have to keep an open mind. The uncontrollable pain and the Budapest criteria are very important with CRPS.
Absolutely.
So and continuing education on it, not just researching it now, continue educating because we're finding new things every day.
And on that note, why don't you all stay tuned? Hit like, hit subscribe, get that little bell, click it too, so you can get notified for our future episodes because we're going to be talking about all kinds of things in the future as things progress. We got a lot of exciting projects coming up, and we look forward to sharing them with you all.
So stay painfully fabulous.